Hello and welcome back to this channel. So in today's tutorial, we're going to learn how to create this in Adobe Fresco. So we'll be using all three kinds of brushes in this tutorial. That's the pixel brush, the live brush, and the vector brush. So let's just get started. I have a sketch and a color palette for you guys, so go ahead and download it from the link in the description box below. I also have a texture which I'm going to be using in this illustration, so make sure to go ahead and download that as well. I'm going to click on Create New. And in here under Digital, I'm going to click on Square. So the sketch I'm going to be using in this tutorial is super simple because I've done something which I never do. That is, I have used the tracing, or I've traced on a photograph to get this sketch, just to show that all those people out there who have no idea how to draw can still do digital art. That is, all you need is a photograph from which you're allowed to actually recreate things, that it should be commercially available and not something which is a copyrighted material. So once you have that photograph, all you have to do is bring it into this app. So I'll show you how. If you want the exact photograph that I'm using, I'll put the link to download it in the description box below. I just want to link it to the original website so that the original creator gets some credit for it, okay? So once you have downloaded it onto your iPad, click on your photos and go to your photos and bring it in. Okay, so once you have the image, click on Done, and now all you have to do is click on a new layer. You can actually decrease the opacity by clicking here and reducing it like this. And then go to your vector brush or any brush that you want, and then you can just make sure you reduce this and then just trace on it like this, like that. And once you're done, you can uncheck this and then you'll have a sketch ready. So that's how you can do it. So, but I already have a sketch ready, so I'm just going to go ahead and bring it in. There you go, and click on Done. And I'm going to go ahead and click on this. Make sure you're on the layer. By the way, click on Multiply so that the background kind of goes away. Oops. And reduce the opacity so that it's pretty light. Now I'll go ahead and bring in the color palette as well. Just increase this so that I can pick easily. Click on Done. And now all you need to do to pick these colors is click and hold on the color until this icon pops up, and then you just make a mark on the artboard. Oh, it went to this, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on a new layer and just make a mark. And I'm going to do that to all the colors that I want. Once I've picked out all the colors, all I have to do is go ahead and click on this eye to actually hide that particular layer. Okay, so now let's start drawing. So first of all, I'm going to make this paper wrapper. That is, I'm going to go into my vector brush now, and I will go ahead and create a new layer. And I will choose this. Let me just uncheck this. Okay, I'll choose this light brown that I have. I'm going to go ahead and just make it like this. Like that. Probably like this. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do that and join this and use my fill tool to color this in. So I want to bring the sketch all the way up. So if you click and hold, it gets highlighted, the sketch layer. You can bring it all the way up like this so that now you can see what's happening, okay? And now I'll click on another layer here and go back to my vector brush, and I'm going to create this part here. So I'm just uncheck that just to show you what's happening, okay? So I'll just draw this part. And color this. So now if I uncheck, you can see what's happening, right? So now I'll go back to this layer. That's the one which has the bigger layer. I'll go into my brushes, that is basic, and then soft round opacity, because I want to add a slight shadow to this edge here, okay? And once I do that, I'll go ahead and click on this gray that I have. I think that gray should work fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and let's look at the size. That's 38. I think it should be okay. So I'll go back to that layer, but you can't actually draw on this layer because it's a vector layer and you have a pixel brush. So you have to click on a new layer, and I'm going to click on clipping mask because I don't want it going out of, anywhere like that. You know what? I want to click this dark brown because I just want to add a shadow here. So I'm just going to increase this because I think it doesn't look good. And I'm going to add a bit of shadow. So don't press too much. Don't add a lot of pressure with your brush. By the way, just a slight one. So now let me uncheck the sketch and take a look, and okay, that's coming through, and I think that's exactly how I want, okay? So that's perfect, that's perfect. So let's go ahead and check back the sketch, and now it's time to draw the tulips. Let's go into a new layer And let's start drawing the tulips. For this, I'm going to go into my live brushes and go into oil, and I'm going to use the oil paint glaze for this one. I've set my paint mix to about 55, and my brush is going to be again at around 50s. That looks good. Now let's choose yellow, the bright yellow that I have. And I'm going to go ahead and add some yellow here. So it's going to be somewhere here. And here as well. Make sure the strokes are nice and, in one direction if you can. And let's do the same here. You can choose a little bigger if you want. Okay, maybe I'll put a little here. Okay, and now I'm going to choose the darker yellow that I have and go back to this layer and click on a new layer so that it goes below this yellow layer. And I'm going to go ahead and add this part here. So once you're done with that, make sure you uncheck the sketch and look at how things are, because you want to go ahead and edit it if it doesn't look that great. Okay, and let's uncheck that. Okay, our yellow tulips are over, and now it's time to make the next ones. I think I'll make the pink ones. So click on a new layer. Make sure it's below the sketch layer, by the way. Let's go ahead and choose the bright pink that we have. And this one is going to have a bit of a gradient. That is, it's going to be darker over here and lighter over here. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and add bright pink everywhere except to this bottom here, like that. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and choose white, and I will just add some white here and try to blend it in like this. By the way, the flow is set to 100, so it should come up like this. Okay, and now let's go back to pink and add a bit here as well. Once it's done, I can just go to this one here, and I'm going to go ahead and draw this one because this is on top. So let me just do that and leave this for white. I'm going to do the same thing here, but I'm going to leave this edge as well because I want to put a little darker pink there, and a bit here as well because I want to put a little bit darker pink here as well, and then white in the bottom. So let's choose white now and just add a bit of white like that over here as well. Mix it, and now you can go and choose this pink and bring it down a little notch so that it becomes a little darker, and we're going to use that. Use it here as well. That looks good. You can actually go and use it here as well. Okay, now let's go back to this layer and click on new layer so that it's behind this tulip layer, and we are in the darker pink that we have. I'm going to go ahead and color the rest like this. That looks good, and now there's one more left, so let's go ahead and do that. So it's going to be on top of the pink one, so click on a new layer, and we're going to choose the orange that we have, and let's go ahead and draw this here like that. I'm going to leave some space here because I want it to be a little darker orange, like right behind the leaf. So I'm going to go here and click on this dark orange that I have and then draw it like this. I will go back to the orange and I'm going to go ahead and draw this part here. But I'll keep some space here because I want to use the dark orange and add some shadow. Like that, and I'll use this part and I'll draw this as well. Let's go ahead and uncheck the sketch and make sure everything looks good. I think it looks good. It need not be perfect. As long as it looks something like this, you should be good, okay? Okay, let's bring back the sketch. Now it's time to add the leaves, and the same technique works. So I'm going to go ahead and choose some green, and I will obviously go on top of these flowers. And I'm going to choose a little bit green. I'm going to reduce the size, by the way, because I think it's really tiny. Bright green on top, like that. And then I want to leave these edges here for dark green. And now I choose the dark green. By the way, one thing you should know is the reload color option is turned on in my oil paint brushes. That means like when I lift my brush up and go back again, it's going to use the color which is here, not the color which has been mixed up. Okay, so that I get dark green every time I lift my brush up and not the color which has been mixed. You see I'm going into this brown layer. That's because we're going to bring that brown layer all the way up. Okay, so once you have that, I'm going to go all the way down here below the flowers, all the flowers, and click on this and try to color this up. And I think that's done. Okay, now it's time to bring this brown thing up. So what I'm going to do is click on one of the brown objects and click on these three dots and click on select multiple, and we're going to click on all three and click on this folder, and now it's one single entity, and you can click and hold to select it and bring it all the way to the top like that, and then it sits here nice and snug. And now you just go ahead and uncheck the sketch and look at your artwork, and it's beautiful, isn't it? So now let's go ahead and go below the brown, this one layer. So I'm just going to go here and click on a new layer and select the red that you have. This is actually optional. You don't really have to do it, but I like to do it. So I'm going to increase the size, and I will make a small ribbon kind of a thing here like that. Don't really have to do it like I told you, but you know, it's up to you. Like that, and that looks good. Now let's go ahead and add the lines to the artwork. So we need to do it in the bottommost layer. So I'm going to go to this white layer and click on a nail layer so that it's in the really bottom part of this whole artwork. And now we're going to use a ruler for this because we need really straight lines. Click on your ruler, and once it comes like this, you can always hold your ruler like this and turn it, and you see the angle over there, and it shows 0 degree stop, and that makes sure that it is, you know, straight. However, you know, exactly straight. So let's go to the pixel brushes, and I'm going to go into my lettering and then point pen 2, and we're gonna set it to 38. Okay, and choose any color that you like. It's not necessary that, you know, it has to be a particular color. I'm going to select maybe gray. Let's see if it looks nice. I think it does. So all you have to do now is click on the top and drag. So the thing with this is, if you have a ruler there, it's not going to go below the ruler, so you always get a straight line. Now bring it down. Okay, that's too thick actually. I'm going to reduce this, maybe 12, I guess. Let's see. Okay, that looks good, and I'm going to make more lines like that all the way to the bottom. And now I'm going to twist this so that it's 90 degrees and bring it all the way to here and draw a line. So that's okay. And now click on the ruler again to take it away, but we don't want this bright, right? So I'm going to go into levels and reduce the opacity to about maybe this much. That's cool. And now only thing left is to add the texture and as well as arrange this artwork and to add some shadows, because I like adding shadows. So I'm going to go into the layer which has this artwork here, that is this one. So I'll click on a new layer, so it's like completely below the tulips. I'll go into my shadow brush, that is go here, basic, soft round opacity, and it's kept at 64, that's okay. And I'm going to go ahead and add a bit of shadow like that. Don't press too much, it should be really subtle, okay? And only on the left side of things. Okay, so you're done. And you see this ribbon here, we'll go below that and create a new layer. I'm gonna add a bit of shadow here as well. Okay, so now it's time to add some texture. If you want the same texture that I'm using, go ahead and click on the link in the description box below. It'll show you where to get the texture from for free. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and bring in the texture. Once you download it onto your iPad, you should be able to see it in your photos. Go to Images, Photos, and bring in the texture. And I'm going to increase the size. And I'm going to rotate it because I want the lines to be in that direction. Let's make sure it's 90 degrees. Click on done. That's okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and click on multiply and maybe reduce the opacity a little bit. That's it. Okay. And then you can either keep it for the whole artwork. We can also put it only to this paper here. So how you do that is click and do this so that it goes here. And click here. So now we want this texture to be on this complete layer. All you have to do now is make sure that you merge these three things together. So click on this, click, merge down, and now click on this and merge down. So all these things are merged down into one single element, that is this one. So now here and click on clipping mask, and then it gets applied to this particular element only. So that's how you do that. Okay, so once you have this, now it's time to arrange things because I feel like this is like, you know, a little too big. I want this towards the corner. I see I did something here which I'm not supposed to do. I don't know what happened, but okay. Let's ignore that it exists, okay? Okay, so what we're gonna do now is group all these things together. That is, I'm going to go ahead and go into this layer, including the shadow, click, select multiple, and we're gonna click all the things which consists of the tulips layer. Okay, and including the bottom part of this, and click on one folder. And now if you uncheck it, oops, we left out the leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and select multiple again, click and folder. And now it's everything selected. But one thing I noticed is I don't want this red band in there, right? So I'm going to go ahead, go into this because I didn't do a good job. So I'm going to merge it with the shadow, that is click and then merge down. So it's merged with the shadow now. Like that, and we're going to bring this outside. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this arrow, click outside again, and then we're going to go ahead and bring it in here and put it over here. Okay, so once you have this, now it's only these tulips. You can click on the transform tool now and then reduce the size to however you want, or you can even bring in, you can make it the same size, but you can bring it in so that, you know, it's in the corner of the artwork like this. And click on done, continue, and then your artwork is ready. So if you want, you can add text, you can add custom messages here. So once you have that, so you just have to export it using share, quick publish and export, and then export as PNG, and then you're ready to use it wherever you want it to be used. Okay, that brings us to the end of this tutorial, and I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. You can always support this channel by buying me a coffee on ko-fi.com. You can find the link to do that in the description box below. It's okay if you can't do it with money. You can always support me by liking this video and sharing it with your friends and family and on your social media handles so that my tiny little channel can grow a little bit more. If you do create something using my tutorials, make sure you tag me on Instagram using @printmesomecolor or @thinkbeyondcolor. I would love to check out what you guys have created. Okay, I guess I'll see you in the next video then. Bye-bye.